What's going on? How are you doing? My name is David the Crook, and today I'm going to show you my top 3 favorite vocal mixing plugins that are free. But before we get into the video, I want to remind you to hit the subscribe button, also hit the like button, and leave a comment telling me what your go-to vocal mixing plugins are. So let's get into it. I have this beat here that I made, and I just put a quick verse together. I'm gonna play it for you so you could get the feel of pretty much what's going on, and then I'll start with the first plugin.
Rolling through the city now, rolling all my windows down, thinking all the times that we've been fighting. I'm not thinking how I don't wanna fight no more, I don't wanna lie no more, but shit just be too heavy on my heart that I can't ignore. I'm tired of the times you wake up and you just cry. I can see it in your eyes. You look up and see the sky, and you feel like no one hearing you. You feel like no one seeing you, but I could promise you one thing, that I'm gonna be here for you.
When I put the 808s in it, it's gonna be hard. So the first plugin I want to show you is a plugin by Softtubes, and it's called the saturation knob. You can find this on their website if you just search up softtube.com. This is what it looks like, and you could either go 2 ways with this plugin. You can either put it strictly onto the vocal chain, or you could bus it. I personally like bussing it. Quick note, if you're gonna bus it, you want to make sure you turn the saturation knob all the way up, and then, you know, for example, if I bust it to bus 17, you're just going to use this little knob here to introduce the saturation into the vocals. And you should experiment. Use the saturation types. You either keep the highs, put in neutral, keep the lows. I usually put it on neutral, but do what works best for you. I'm going to introduce the saturation knob slowly. I'm going to overdo it at first so you can hear exactly what it does to the vocals, and then I'm just going to bring it down and kind of mix it in. This plugin is just amazing. Like, what it does to the vocals, it's so crazy. It's hard to explain, but it just makes everything sound so good. Like, I love putting this on my vocals. Let's do that right now.
Rolling through the city now, rolling all my windows down, thinking all the times that we've been fighting. I'm not thinking how I don't wanna fight no more, I don't wanna lie no more, but shit just be too heavy on my heart that I can't ignore. I'm tired of the times you wake up and you just cry. I can see it in your eyes. You look up and see the sky, and you feel like no one hearing you. You feel like no one seeing you, but I could promise you one thing, that I'm gonna be here for you.
That just makes the vocal sound so clean and like crispy, and highs, like it adds like a good amount of highs to your vocals, so it just makes your vocal sound amazing. You know, it's hard to explain, but it just makes the vocal sound, it just sounds good. Like, I recommend this to everybody. This plugin is amazing. It's the saturation knob by Softtubes. Now the second plugin I'm going to show you is a plugin by Isotope, and that is a vocal doubler. Now this plugin is dope just because it makes your vocals sound a lot fuller, and you could do the same thing as the saturation knob. You can either put it strictly on the vocal chain, or you could bus it. As you probably know, I like bussing it. The reason I like bussing it is just because I like to add a good amount where it's not noticeable, but it makes your vocals sound a lot fuller. That's what I go for. With the plugin, you got 2 things. You either got the separation or you got the variation. If you're going to put it on the vocal chain, you're just going to want to mess with this amount and then just lower it and then just mix it back in. When you find the perfect spot of the perfect blend of the original vocal and the doubler, if you're going to put it onto the bus like I do, I just put the effect on 100. I personally found that the sweet spot is between around 75 and 80, and then just the variation is just probably between 40 and 50, and that's what I found to work best for me. You want to do what works best with you. A cool trick you could do is just put a EQ onto the vocal, which I want to cut out probably about to 500, because you don't want too much of the lower mids, because then it'll just muddy up the vocals. I usually like just hearing the mids and the highs, and that's just to make the vocal sound a lot fuller. So I usually just cut about 500. A cool trick you could do is you could just add like if you don't want to use like a simple EQ channel, you could use like the VEQ by Waves, and then just cut out 270 and turn the analog on, and then it will add like a nice color to your vocals. I just use a regular EQ, so I'm gonna cut out about 590, and then I'm gonna mix it in.
Rolling through the city now, rolling all my windows down, thinking all the times that we've been fighting. I'm not thinking how I don't wanna fight no more, I don't wanna lie no more, but shit just be too heavy on my heart that I can't ignore. I'm tired of the times you wake up and you just cry. I can see it in your wake up and see the sky, and you feel like no one hearing you. You feel like no one seeing you, but I could promise you one thing, that I'm gonna be here.
You might not really hear the difference, but it's very subtle. Like you just introduce that doubler into the vocals in a very subtle way. It makes your vocal sound a little bit louder and fuller too. So that's the reason why I love using Vocal Doubler by Isotope. Now the third and last plugin that I love to use on my vocals, it's a reverb plugin. It's called Tidal Reverb 2 plugin. Now this plugin is dope because if you really mess with like the highs and the mids and the lows, these knobs here, and then the room size, and then the wet and dry, you can find some like pretty good space, and like just it's a good reverb all around to add to your vocals, and it just pretty much goes with everything. Now I'm not gonna mess with it. I'm just gonna go through some of the presets that it comes with. Some of these presets, like, they're actually pretty good. I love using the big plate, big wet plate. I love using the need some air, and then the short plate and the mild plate, or what was that? Mild, the mid plate. now I'm a Now you could do it two ways. You could put on the vocal chain, or you could bust it. I love busting my reverbs as well as my delay and stuff. I'm gonna pretty much just go through some of the presets that comes here, and I'm gonna overdo the reverb so you could hear like the space and pretty much what it does to the vocals.
Rolling through the city now, rolling all my windows down, thinking all the times that we've been fighting. I'm not thinking how I don't wanna fight no more. I don't wanna lie no more, but shit just be too heavy on my heart that I can't ignore. Tired of the
Clean.
times you wake up and you just cry. I can see it in your eyes. You look up and see the sky, and you feel like no one hearing you. You feel like no one seeing you, but I could promise you one thing, that I'm gonna be here for you. Rolling through the city now, rolling all my windows down, thinking all the times that we've been fighting. I'm not thinking how I don't wanna fight no more. I don't wanna lie no more, but shit just be too heavy on my heart that I can't ignore. Tired of the times you wake up and you just cry. I can see it in your eyes. You look up and see the sky, and you feel like no one hearing you. You feel like no one seeing you, but I could.
Now those are some of the presets that come within the reverb plugin, but like I said, always mess around with like the highs, mids, and the lows, and with the wet and dry reverb. This plugin is just dope because pretty much the sound that the reverb gives the vocals, it just goes with anything. Like you can either make a short plate reverb, or you can make it like very long and like echoey and just spacious. So this plugin is dope. I love using this. I also like mixing reverbs. You could try that, like use this and then use some of the stock Logic reverbs or another third-party reverb, and just mix reverbs, and you can get this like dope sound, like this dope space where it's like no one's really heard it, because I mean no one really mixes reverbs, and if you do, what the reverbs you mix with is not what someone else is gonna choose. So I mean, it's worth experimenting. Just find out what pretty much sounds best for you and what works best for the song. Now I'm gonna show you this dope trick you could do with Logic, and it's like the Logic compressors. And I know this is like free plugins, but if you use Logic, you have to use the compressors in Logic. These compressors sound amazing. Like, I personally love using the vintage Feet and the vintage Op. Now the studio one works good. I've never had that much luck with the premium or platinum, but I know there's a lot of people who use it. This one sounds dope on drums, and they all sound good. Like, they're all going to give it a different color and a different character to the vocals. But what you want to do is you just want to put the ratio like at 2-to-1. Like, if you're not going for too much compression, just leave it on auto. You mess with the threshold, just get like a subtle compression like this.
Rolling through the city now, rolling all my windows down, thinking all the times that we've been fighting. I'm not thinking how I don't wanna fight.
And once you get a good amount of compression, you just see this distortion knob right here. Just put it on soft, and your mind's just gonna be blown. Like, what this does, it just makes your vocals sound amazing. Like, that's the only word I could think of right now, is just amazing. What it does to the vocals, like, to this day, every time I put it on my vocals, it just sounds dope. Now I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna put the distortion on soft and then put on soft. You can also mess with like the hard and then the clip. Like, those make the vocal sound dope. But the soft one, that one just, oh my god, it's just so good. Like, you have to hear it. I'm gonna put it on off and then I'm gonna turn it on.
Rolling through the city now, rolling all my windows down, thinking all the times that we've been
Now I'll put it on
fighting.
soft.
I'm not thinking how I don't wanna fight no more. I don't wanna lie no more, but shit just be too heavy on my heart that I can't ignore. I'm tired of the times you wake up and you just cry. I can see it in your eyes. You look up and see the sky, and you feel like no one hearing you. You feel like no one seeing you.
Putting your vocals on soft distortion using the stock Logic compressors, it just does amazing tricks to your vocals. And that's like a tip you could use if you use Logic. If not, then, I don't know what to tell you. But if you use Logic, you have to use the stock compressors and just put that distortion on soft, and it's gonna make your vocal sound clean. That's just what I want to show you, my top 3 favorite vocal mixing plugins that I use when I mix my vocals, and that's pretty much Saturation Knob by Softtube, the Vocal Doubler by Isotope, and then the Tower Reaper plugin 2. That's the end of the video, and I want to remind you to hit the subscribe button, also hit the like button, and leave a comment telling me what your go-to vocal mixing plugins are. Check the description below, there's some cool things in there, and I hope to see you in the next video. Peace.